Welcome back to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm Kim, and today we're going to talk about the different containers you can use to start your seeds in. Let's get started. There are so many different options out there. I mean, there's so many different. Do I need a dome? Do I not need a dome? Do I need the little containers like this? Can I use cups? Like, which options are right for you? So I'm going to share with you some of the ones that I use, some cost-effective ones as well, and where you can actually set these seedlings up. You don't have to have an indoor growing space to do so. So first, let's talk about the many different options and containers you can use for seed starting. If you don't have a lot of space, there are these little bitty containers out here that have 6 cells in them, and they're really, really small, and it's a good option to start your seedlings in and then up pot to maybe a bigger cell. So here's, a little 6 cell, and then here's a bigger, this one's seen better days, but then here's a bigger 6 cell. So you might start here and then up pot to this to give your roots more room to grow. But you can start small, see if your seeds are going to germinate, and then up pot so they can continue to grow. There's also 4 cells, right? They come in many different shapes and sizes. So, here's one pocket that's the size of 2 of these cells. But there are many different options. You just have to find the one that works for you. And if you don't want to invest in, these little pots, to up pot in, you can also use the seedling trays that you get from the nursery. So when you buy flowers and plant starts, from your nurseries and your Home Depots and your Lowe's and your places of that nature, you can wash those pots out and reuse them. And I've done that many, many times to start my seedlings for the next year. After let's say, for example, you started here and you needed to up pot, and let's say you up pot it to this level. Oh, you're still not ready to put it out yet. You need to up pot again. So maybe you up pot to this level. So you go from here to here. And it's still not time. The weather is not right. It's too cold. There was a freak frost, right? I still need to up pot. Then you can up pot to here. So there are many options. And you don't need to feel like it's overwhelming. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Just find an option that works for you based on your budget. Some people like to use cups like this to start their seedlings in, and that works too. If you're interested in using cups to start your seedlings in, just remember that you need drainage. So make sure you put some type of drainage hole in the bottom. So I've already started putting drainage holes in this one, and it's super easy. Just make sure if you don't have drainage holes, you're going to have soggy bottoms on your plants, and they're not going to do very well. But I've already put 2 holes in here. I literally just took a screw, held onto the cup, and just worked it until I got a hole in the bottom. So now this cup has 3 holes in the bottom of it. So that's an option. So you can use cups. You can use these containers, which you can buy them pretty much anywhere online. Amazon has them from so many different resources and vendors and stuff out there. So there's no right, there's no wrong. There are many different options. And once you have your seed starting materials as to what you're going to put it in, you also need to put it in some kind of tray for watering. And there are many different options for that as well. So you can put it in a large flat like this. And so you can line all your trays up into a large flat. That's one option. Maybe you don't have room for a large flat like that because you're going to need to get sunlight or light to your seedlings. And so maybe you don't have space for something like that. Maybe you don't have an indoor seed starting area. So maybe all you have is a windowsill, and that's okay too. You can find these in pretty much anywhere. You can find them in Walmart. You can find them in your hardware stores. And I think this is a Jiffy brand, but you would put your seedlings in here. right? You just line them up in here. You put them in your windowsill, and a south-facing windowsill so you can get that best sunlight if you can. But put it right in the windowsill, and now you have a seed starting station. It doesn't take much. And you will use the white tray to water from the bottom. So that's an option as well. Maybe you don't want to start that many seeds. Maybe you only want, a half dozen plants. That's okay too. They have little bitty seed starting cells as well. And, it'll fit a couple of those, right? Same thing. You'll take it out, you'll water it from the bottom, and there you go for a very small space. So there are options, and that's all this video is about. I want to make sure you know of all your options. To start your seeds, you have to determine, are you going to use this kind of tray where you're going to put a seed starting mix in? Or are you going to get one of these little tablets that once you water, they expand, and you can put seedling in there as well? So for me, I prefer to use a starting mix. So I use a Jiffy natural and organic starting mix. It's just one brand out there. There are many others out there as well. I use that starting mix to fill up my seedling trays. But maybe you want to use the little tablets. And if you do, I purchased, this is a Jiffy brand as well, and it came with enough tablets to fill each and every one of these spots. So you would put the tablet in one of the little places here, right? Let me just push some of them in so you can see it. But you would put the tablets in the little spaces, and it has a little place in the top where there's an opening. So you make sure that that side's up. And once you got them in place, right, I'm not going to fill this whole tray up, but once you have them in the tray, you water from the bottom. Those tablets will expand to a good, 2 or 3 inches tall. And you can use that to start your seedlings in. Some people like to use humidity domes. If you use a humidity dome, one, you typically don't have to water as often. And a lot of people like to use those to ensure that their seedlings don't dry out prior to them breaking ground. So if you want to use a humidity dome, that's fine too. These come with humidity domes that you can put right on top of them. And you would put this on your seed starting area, and it will keep your seedlings moist until they break ground. And once they break ground and they start growing, you're going to need to remove this dome so that they have room to grow and breathe. But let's say you don't have that seed starting station. All you have is that windowsill. So what do you do for those situations? Again, there are many options. So here's a little one that I bought years ago, and these, you can reuse them. And it came with a humidity dome as well that you can put right on top. And this particular style actually comes with venting. So, if you need a lot of venting, you just take the little tab off, or you can adjust how much venting this one gets. So there's a humidity dome even for small cells. I personally don't use humidity domes. Some people, live by them. They swear by them. But it's an option for you. So you have to determine what works best for you. But I personally don't use them because I have a growing station. And in my growing station, I'm controlling, how much air is getting to the space. So there's not like too much air getting in the space, drying my seedlings out. I'm watching my seedlings very closely so I know when they break the ground. So I'm a very attentive mother of my seedlings. But these are some of the options, and it's not even all of the options. There are some higher quality cells very similar to these that have a place in the bottom where you can punch them out and not ruin the cell itself. I don't have any of those. They cost just a little bit too much for me, where I could get like 100 of these for a little of nothing. And I've just reused them year after year after year. When they start looking too ragged, like this one here, right? This one's been used quite a few times. You can see the cells are pretty messed up. Then I toss these and then I buy more as needed. But you can buy them in large quantities for not much money. Those are all of the different options that I personally like to use. And I wanted to make you aware of all of those different options. Find the one that works for you. You don't need a grow space. You can use a windowsill. You can use a cup and just put it in your kitchen windowsill and watch that tomato plant take off from seed. Find the option that works for you. If cups are all you have, then use a cup. I hope you found this very short tutorial useful and helpful to you. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Have a wonderful, safe day. Bye-bye.